Alrighty, you guys made it. Welcome to episode 2. How do you even make money day trading? We're going to break down futures trading, what even goes in, like what is it? How do you even make money? It doesn't make sense, right? When you get into it, it doesn't make sense. How do you make money out of thin air, right? And we're going to talk about funded accounts. I know you've heard of it. You're just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, how the fuck do you make money from a candlestick? You know what I mean? So we're going to break down how do you make money. We're not going to go into candlesticks, market structure, all that kind of bullshit yet. We're going to talk about the basic how do you make money, because if you don't understand how you're going to make money in it, how are you going to be able to give it all your attention, all of your focus, and all of your effort? You're not, because you're going to, in the back of your mind, be like, when am I even going to make money? How am I even going to make money? So let's get into this. Hold on here. First time using a fucking computer. Hold on. Obviously, as we said in the beginning, these are unedited videos. This is the raw reality. So we're going to get into the charts. This is the beautiful candlestick chart. This is where you're going to be printing money from, right? This is called the S&P 500. You have the micro, you have the normal, and then you have ES. Or ES is S&P. NQ is the NASDAQ. These are the two that I'm going to be talking about. Throughout the series, this is what you need to know. You don't trade on any other bullshit. You don't need to know about gold or platinum. There's fucking cattle. Like we're not doing that shit. So, right. So, number one, right? You can make life-changing amount of money from trading, but how does it work, right? Well, you might have talked to your grandpa and he's like, oh, well, you buy year after year, you buy, let's go to the fucking yearly chart. Year after year, buy the S&P and it goes up year after year, and you can make, this is 100% over 4 years or some shit, I don't know. But they're like, yeah, it's a 10% yield every year. This is like, that's not what we're doing. Let's just get that out of your head. You're not buying and holding a stock. You're not going and looking up what Meta did today and buying that stock. You're not doing that. That is not at all what we're doing. What we're doing is called futures day trading. Futures day trading is basically leveraged positions on indexes like the S&P here, the NASDAQ, with a take profit and a stop loss. And basically, all you're going to want to do is have an edge. An edge is your strategy. You take that strategy over a period of time and you back test that, and you have an edge. An edge is like a casino. When you go to the casino, they are bound to win. That's how casinos work. Basically, we are the casino. We take the same setups every time they present themselves, and we make money. Let me go back here because we're obviously not the fuck's going on here. Sorry, it's my first time on a computer here. All right. So, like I was saying, the casino part. Basically, we're doing just like a casino does. They have their probability set that they are going to win 51% of the time, 55% of the time, whatever it is. We have the same thing, whether it's a 70% win rate, whatever. We're going to win more than we lose, and we're going to win more money more than we risk. So it's pretty much that simple. It's basically broken down into having an edge, which is a proven strategy, right? That allows you to take wins and losses and end up profitable. So going into the charts real quick, I'll just point this out. So you might say, like, how do I even make money in this chart, right? Well, this is basically how it works. You hit trade here. I'll just go to paper trading. I'm not connecting my broker. Hold on. All right. So this is how you make money, right? You can see over here on the right here, you can see buy and sell, right up here. Then you have the different contracts. the take profit, the stop loss. We're not going to get into all this shit. People go into the technicals of like, oh, this is what margin is and all that. But I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Right? All this leverage and margin and all this bullshit down here. Who cares? Right? It's not that important. The broker handles all that shit for you. You don't have to worry about that. So let's say we're going to go and put on a long position tool. A long is going up, a short is going down, right? We're going to go into this more when we get into market analysis, but I'm just giving you a quick example. Let's say we wanted to take this trade. This is a 2.48 risk to reward, and we are risking 182 ticks to make 452 ticks. I say, what's a tick? A tick is an increment measured in the chart. So we have 4 ticks per point, and you can see these points on the side. If I zoom all the way in, you can see point by point, right? You have, there you go, right there. 896, 897, 898, right? You can see that going up. You have 4 ticks to a point, and that is how you're going to do this. So if we went by ticks here, you would see that, let's say we're risking 182. You can see down there on the bottom, right here, when I hover my mouse, 182. So we're just going to put this in for hypothetical, right? You're going to risk, you can see down here on, oh, fuck's sake. God damn it. Come on. Come on. There you go. You can see right here, $910 is what you're risking on that trade to potentially make 452, right? Just put 452. That's why you don't have to do you don't have to memorize what the contracts are and all that shit. People spend hours talking about that shit and they have fucking pages in their notebook. It's not that important. Literally does it for you right here. So you are risking 910 to make 2260. That is a good risk to reward. Now, let's say this is our setup. This is obviously some random fucking chart. It's, what time is it? I don't even fucking know. It's 1 p.m. Obviously, you're not trading at 1 p.m. We're going to get into all that shit later. So if this isn't making sense, it's okay. I'm just breaking down hypothetically on a daily basis how you're going to make money. You're going to identify your setup. You're going to say, okay, this is the risk amount. This is the profit target up here. We're going to target up here. And then you're going to buy or sell with your proven, right? Proven strategy that gives you an edge in the market. And now, let's say this goes up more than it, it goes up here and we hit take profit. Cool. If it goes down, it's okay. It's part of the game. You're going to have wins, you're going to have losses. But the thing is, you end up winning in the end. That is how you make money. That is how it works. Now, here's the fun part. Funded accounts. Funded accounts are basically how you're going to make money as far as, oh, fuck's sake. Funded accounts are how you're going to make money when you're starting out. You're not going to start out and get a live account, right? You're not going to put 50K into a live account because you're probably going to blow it, right? There's, like, let's just be real here. You're probably going to blow it. So, is that who out there? So, you're probably going to blow it. You're not going to put it into a live account. What we're going to do is using funded accounts. So one account is Alpha Futures. Alpha Futures is an account. There's Top Step. There's Apex Futures. There's a whole bunch of them. I personally use Alpha. Just my personal one that I use. I'm going to open up a trade return calculator because what this is going to do is show you the possibility of how much you can really be making with a certain amount of win rate and risk to reward. Another thing we're going to go after that is talk about, how do you even, what is a funded account, right? Because while we are talking about the win rates and all that stuff, I gave you an example right there, right? On this right here. Let's talk about this calculator. This calculator is a trading profit calculator, as you can see right here. Obviously, clearly says that right there. And what this is going to do is simulate time in the market. So $100,000 starting capital. You can get funded accounts for $100,000. Get $50,000. Let's just use $100,000. Nice round number. let's say, I would say the average strategy is about a 70% 1 to 1.5 risk to reward, which means if you are risking $100, you are going to make $150 70% of the time. That is the simplest way to break it down. You are risking X amount to make 1.5 that amount 70% of the time. Now, let's say we're risking 1% of the account. We're not going to get into funded account strategies. Sometimes you'll do only 1% of the buffer or the maximum loss limit. Let's just say $1,000 a trade. And the number of trades per month, let's say you get 15. 15 would be basically you have 5 days of no trades. That's pretty accurate. Monthly profit, $6,000, right? Let's make this risk amount a little bit more realistic, because when you have a funded account, you're going to have what's called a maximum loss limit. So you can't lose a certain amount. On this $100,000, it might be $6,000. So $6,000, 1% of that would be about 600. No, it's 60. But let's say you're doing $300 a trade. That's a decent amount per trade to risk if you have a funded account at $100,000. Now, with funded accounts, the best thing about them, you can copy trade them. So this is where it's going to get fun. Let's say you're doing this, right? But you have 10 accounts doing the same thing. You copy trade $100,000 accounts 10 times. You're doing $18,000 a month just by simply having 9 more accounts. That is the exponential growth I was talking about with day trading. That's just how it works. Now, we're going to get into where's my fucking thing here? We're going to get into the funded accounts now. We're going to talk about how do you make money with funded accounts? What is it, right? Because we're just talking about them. This is a funded account. This is Alpha Futures. You have 25K, 50K, and 100K accounts. Just go in the corner here. So you can see the different ones. You have zero plans, advanced plans, standard plans. The thing with these is, and we're going to do a whole video dedicated to funded account strategy, because there is a strategy behind it. We're going to talk about all this bullshit in more detail. But for the brief right now, we're going to just talk about how do you make money in trading. This is how you make money in trading. And one of the parts is the funded accounts. So you're going to buy this funded account, right? Let's say you get a standard one, 50K. It's probably your first one you're going to get. What this is a profit target of $3,000. You're going to make $3,000, and then they're going to be like, okay, cool. Good job. You proved that you have a profitable strategy. We're going to give you this $50,000 to trade. Now, you can't pull that shit out. Like, come on, don't be an idiot. Can't pull that 50K out and just go trade it. It's not how it works. So, what was I about to say? Completely lost my train of thought. Right? You make the $3,000 and you get the 50K account. Great. Now, you can go for a payout, and you have what's called consistency rules on some. This one has a consistency rule. You can see it down here on the bottom. It has a consistency rule. What that means is that this $3,000 profit target, you might have to take that in 2 days, right? 50.5%, if I remember correctly, is what this consistency rule is, which means basically you can't make more than 50% in 1 day. So you'd have to make 1,500 and 1,500, 2 winning trades. That's why it says minimum trading days is 2. We're going to get into the more detail. But basically, you buy this account, and then you can start making money on that account, requesting payouts. That is how you make money. You don't need $100,000 of your own money. You don't need $50,000 of your own money. Eventually, you will be on a live account when you're really good at it, and shit going from there. But for now, You're going to start out on a funded account, copy trade them, and that is how you're going to make money with day trading. So now that we talked about how you make money, this is the important part. Day trading is a skill-based game. It is just like professional basketball, golf, any sport. The player is not focused on the money, the payout. They're not, or else they would play terribly. They are focused at the game in hand, like a professional basketball player. If they're going out there on the court, they are focused on the game, performing their absolute best, using their skill set to their absolute maximum, and then after, they'll get the payout. They'll, walk away with a check. Cool. But in the moment, they're not thinking about that. That's the same kind of thought process you need to have going through this. Money will come. It is an exponential game. Money will come. But the biggest thing is you need to be able to make money, or forget about making money, sorry. You need to be able to trade every single day without the thought of making money, right? Because that's going to cause you to fail. Every day, you're just logging onto the charts and seeing candles go up and down. We're going to have a full video on psychology later in this series, so you don't need to worry about this right now. See this fucking camera? It's like fucking moving around now. Come on. Come on. Alright. There we go. So, the next video is going to be actually getting into the charts. We're done with the bullshit. We're going to get into the charts. The first video is going to be how to read price action. That's candlesticks, that's market structure, etc. So that is going to be a very good video. Tune into that one, and here we go.